you just have like nowhere to go so many times. And it's like, who gives an F? Well, I give an F. I do. I strongly do. Hello, ageless beauties. How are you today? Oh my God, today was one of those days that made me have a deep think about the state of being a woman. So, of course, I can't give away too much detail, but basically, I am there with a client turned friend because she's going through one of the most devastating times of her life. Long story short, it's kind of something you hear all the time. Loved one, husband, left her and children for a new girl, and not biological children, just kind of swinging and sinking, and just like life is just taking a devastating turn, and she has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. We have been talking about it a lot. She's trying to figure it out. She's just been left hanging. These things happen just too often. People really don't have the required compassion to, even if you were compelled somehow, impelled even somehow to leave, that you don't leave the one that you said you used to love high and dry. I mean, like, high and dry. It's so insane to me. I used to think that it was okay to just trust people's word. I've seen in this business you run into a lot of people in a lot of situations. You understand things a lot. Obviously, I've lived a long time, so I think differently now than I did when I was like 20 something, right? And I came here today not to tell her tale, but to say it's sad that it seems like nobody gives an F. When these things are happening, you just have like nowhere to go so many times. And it's like, who gives an F? Well, I give an F. I do. I strongly do. So this episode, if you will, is really about me creating a channel for women. Why would you do that? So many channels for women. But there's not, though. There's a lot of channels for women in real estate, success, coaching, their business, build a YouTube channel, do your makeup, so many things, so many like outlets, right? To live your best life ever, and that's great. But where the channels to cope? By the time you have to cope, you're paying out the wazoo for a therapist and psychiatrist, or sometimes you're just flailing and falling, and these things lead to suicide so often. Even when it doesn't, it leaves you in a devastating pit. You have nowhere to go. And this led me to say that I want to start a group for women who, when you come into that group, you're going to be instructed to go anonymous and tell your tale and see if you could clip from other women just how to navigate these hard situations. People say talk to your family. Who wants to talk to your family? It's embarrassing. There's so many situations you don't want to talk about. There's a lot of situations that may backfire. The families that'll say, well, you complained about him in one moment, but now you're back with him, don't talk to me again. And the support is not really there. Sometimes you have the friends that instead of keeping it in-house, they go chatting about your business, and they make it more devastating for you. And this is not just about relationships. This is about maybe something you're facing with children, something that's really hard for you. And if you say, well, this situation is hard for me, my children, people start to judge you about being a mom. What's your mom ability, or whatever have you. People that it's very hard to go to because you get the action of someone that's too close, that's not far enough removed, or maybe have been through it themselves, or even when the family has been through it themselves, they're also having a cloak. They're also wearing a mask. They also don't want to admit, oh, my husband Larry did that too. Oh, I had that same hardship with my son, Paul, or my daughter Stephanie, or whatever have you. So it's just like a swindle of swindling when you go inward. So important to talk about. There's things that women go through, and I know men go through the things too. I cannot speak for them. I am a woman. I don't know what it's like to go through what men go through. Even our brains meet differently. Our hormones are different. I cannot speak to that. So I'm speaking to women because I know I've been through my life, and it has not been easy. A lot of it has been super devastating, especially when I was young. Just to drop a little bit of tea, and it's still, still something I don't like to talk about. But like so many women, I was mishandled inappropriately when I was a child. Nobody there to protect me, nobody there knowing. When they finally did know, I feel like the appropriate steps were not taken. It was appropriate. I would have liked to see somebody like body bag them, right? So I had to say it like that, but that's what I would have liked to see, or at least put some hurt. But it was, nothing was really done. I didn't know how to handle it. And sadly enough, in my younger mind back then, I literally considered, just like doing it myself. I literally considered taking care of the situation myself. So my life would have been destroyed in that portion of life have I not kind of navigated myself out of that, right? And that was not by talking to anyone. I didn't really have anyone to talk to. These things are embarrassing, or maybe you feel threatened, or you don't want to be judged, or people aren't handling your information right. But there's so many things bottled up that you want to talk about. So I'm making this group. It's really super simple Facebook group where you can come in as you are. That's how you have to come in. Anytime you post and talk and give advice, just do it anonymously. Nobody except me is allowed to give the name. I might even do it anonymously. I don't know if I can, if I'm like the moderator, but you know what I'm saying? And just try to get some advice and really talk out your stuff. Sometimes you can get some cues from people. And 2 heads are always better than 1. Imagine 50 heads. Imagine 500 heads. I really wish that I was not the only resource this young lady had to go to. Because I'm trying to give advice, this, that, and the other, but I can only do so much help. And, obviously she's also pulling back a little bit because she does know me. I am her friend. And sometimes you just can't really release her friend. I have a friend and she's a beautiful Christian woman. So if I'm going through my issues that aren't quite Christian thought process, it's not easy to speak to her because I do feel like, well, I will be judged. Something as simple as cigarettes. I'm struggling with the cigarettes. It's a lot of me, and I feel like maybe the wine has been too much also. Then it goes into not really advice that might help me at the moment, but just maybe something that's a little more judgmental without attempting to, if that makes sense. When I'm talking to my cousin, and I love her so dearly, and I want to help her so much, when she's giving me advice about the person that I just can't stand to see with, I'm like, leave him, no one to think about it, just and that may not be helpful, right? So my thing is, what I love to do is start this group. I'm going to post it down. It's just a Facebook group. It's going to be private. I invite you in. And when we start posting, I'm going to start posting some of the questions I have, some of the situations I've been in, some of the situations I've seen. And I love your input. And then eventually I'd love you guys to add as well. And it's a group of helpfulness. Nobody that's unhelpful or negative or nasty is going to be allowed to stay. Disclaimer, putting it out there, because this is a group that really does support the stuff that women go through. It's too many of us on the world to have to go through it alone. And we don't have to join like an anti-man movement just to navigate life, or anti-child movement just to navigate life correctly, or an anti-even faith movement just to navigate life correctly. And life can be crazy. People deal with so much. It could be something as small as weight gain that's crushing them, to something as big as their person cheated. Maybe they cheated. There's so many things, so many realms of stuff to go through. I love to start this. I think it's so important because we need it. We need it. Let's do it. So here's the invitation. Link is below. I'd love for you to join. Obviously it's new. You're going to get there. You're going to see just 1 or 2 people in there. But I'd love to build it up, get the conversation going, and really start something that's going to support us for real. None of the BS attached. All right, well, that is my quick thing. A really big part of Don't Let Yourself Go is let yourself be honest enough to navigate life right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, bell, and definitely join the group. Please comment and tell me what you think about my idea. Mwah. Love you. Talk to you soon.